My name's Drew, and I just want to take a couple minutes with you just to share a little bit about my story, a little bit about my life. I grew up in a home where my parents were Christians, and our home was pretty good. Life was pretty good. I don't remember actually much of my childhood. I think just simply because things were going great. There wasn't a whole lot of bad stuff to remember. And I remember at age 7 actually realizing my need to have a relationship with Jesus, to have my sins forgiven, so that I could be in right standing with God, and so that I could spend eternity with Him. And I remember making that decision at age 7. Well, life was good. I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and again, my parents seemed happily married, and we went to church every Sunday, and we were all believers in Christ. But at age 12, a lot of things changed. My life did a 180 when my mom told me that her and my dad were getting a divorce. And this came out of nowhere. I had no idea this was coming. To me, our family seemed perfect. Everything seemed fine. There was no sign of any marital problems between my mom and my dad. And I was just taken completely by surprise. And it led to a lot of pain, a lot of confusion, and I just didn't know what life was going to be like with both my parents not living together and being separated. And truth is, it led to just a nasty divorce. I mean, a custody battle where I remember going into the courtroom and having to sit outside the courtroom waiting to go in to have to testify and say who I wanted to live with. And it was just a very difficult situation that lasted a few years. But I remember my best friend was going through the exact same thing. And I remember him just turning from God. I remember him blaming God for what was going on in his life. And the truth is, it wasn't God's fault. His parents had made some decisions, just like mine, where they made mistakes. They failed. They blew it in many ways. And so he took that opportunity to blame them and to blame God and not take any responsibility. And I remember him turning to sex and drugs and alcohol and violence and crime and anything he could to try and relieve the pain. And I remember thinking, I'm in this same situation. I've got a choice to make. God, I said that I have a relationship with you and I've trusted you to this point in my life, but everything that I've known is crashing down. And I remember making the decision not to rebel against God, not to blame my parents for everything. Yes, they made a mistake, and actually it was their decisions that put me in this situation, but I had a decision to make. Was I going to run away from God and turn to all these things that I knew wouldn't satisfy? Or was I going to turn to God and look to Him for the grace that would help me through it, and look to Him for the strength and the comfort that I needed specifically in that time? And so by the grace of God, I did. I looked to Him, and through the church, through some friends, even through my family, God used each and every one of them and just my relationship with Him to get me through that. And it's been an awesome journey. It's been difficult. Things in my family are still challenging at times, but the truth is He has done so much healing and so much growth in my family, with my brothers and sisters, with my mom, with my dad, and my stepbrothers and sisters. It's really been a testimony to God's grace and how He can take a bad situation and make it good and do so much through that. And so one of the things I learned is Christians, we make mistakes. We're not perfect, and we blow it many times. And now I'm a husband and a father. I have 3 little daughters, and I see myself making mistakes every day that I regret. But I know God can sustain me, and if I trust in Him, He'll help me to be the best dad, to be the best husband that I can be. And, maybe you're going through a similar situation, a trial, a difficulty in life where what you knew just it's been changed upside down, and your life feels like it's coming crashing down on you, and everything's out of your control. I would just encourage you to trust God. If you don't have a relationship with Him, ask somebody maybe that you know that has a relationship with God, and ask them what that's all about. But I would encourage you to turn to God. Don't run away from Him. Don't blame Him. Don't blame others. But turn to Him, and His grace and His strength will help you get through it. So thanks for just taking the time to listen to me and a little bit about my story and my life.